Hey guys, 5 things I wish I knew when I first jumped into real estate investing, and 1 do and 1 don't regarding those 5 things. Let's get into it. All right, so the first thing I wish I knew way better, and now it's become a passion of mine, is company structure. I wish I knew company structure, okay? Now, there's multiple reasons why learning company structure is important, but what is an LLC versus an S Corp? By the way, there is no such difference. An LLC is an S Corp, and an S Corp is an LLC. An LLC essentially is the company, and the S Corp is the way you elect to pay your taxes. So I wish I knew that in the beginning, like why is an S Corp important? Why is an LLC important? It's now fun to understand these rules and these regulations because it helps me save on taxes. It helps me with privacy. It helps me with lenders. It helps in so many ways. Also corporate credit, right? These things are so important. And I see so many people buying deals, running their wholesale business, being real estate agents, all in your personal name. Guys, do nothing in your personal name. In fact, if I showed you how much money I had in my personal bank account, you would laugh. I think I have like $12 in there. I don't use a personal bank account. I wish I knew corporate structure, company structure when I first started. So what does it do and what does it don't regarding this? So the first don't. I've learned the hard way. Do not ever start an LLC on your own. You don't know what the hell you're doing. I don't care what website you're going on. I don't care what help you're doing. If you have not talked to somebody who knows how to set up an estate plan, one LLC being set up wrong can screw up your whole entire system. So essentially, I'm gonna keep it very simple. I have a holding company, and this holding company owns multiple LLCs, okay? So this is an LLC, and this is like my flip business. This is another LLC. This is my rental business, and so on, right? I own title companies and cold calling companies and software companies, all that kind of stuff, and they're all separated into their own LLCs. I learned the hard way, don't ever, 1, put things in your own name, and 2, make sure you understand how to set these things up. Guys, I know a lot about LLC structures, more than most CPAs, and yes, if you're a CPA, I'm challenging you. I probably know more than you, unfortunately. But I wish I did not ever go down the route of thinking. So do not think you can do this on your own. So do not do it on your own. That's my do not, okay? Do not do on your own. What the do is, I went through multiple companies. I used to promote a big company. I'm not gonna say their name. I used to promote them because I thought they knew what they were doing, but their customer service is super bad. I won't put their name out here. They're very well known. They have a freaking phenomenal YouTube channel. They are probably the best in educating people on what LLCs are, et cetera, but their customer service is so bad. I sent over 400 people to them, and every one of those people are upset. So I wish I found this company earlier, but the name of the company is Prime Corporate Services. This is who sets up all my LLCs. This is who does my corporate structures, my estate planning, everything. And what you think is, you're like, well, I don't have any need for an LLC. Yes, you do. There's a mental thing with having a company structure. Are you serious about getting into real estate investing or not? If you are serious, then be serious and actually have a business. You don't have a business unless you have an LLC. So I would have gone to primecorporateservices.com. I believe we have a discount code. We'll put it on the screen or down below. Primecorporateservices.com. That's who sets up our LLCs, our estate planning, our trusts, everything. Everything that I do, I shoot my rep over here a message. Also, I have corporate credit through them. This is another thing that is amazing, is I would have gone to them earlier because I got lines of credit, credit cards, etc., through the same exact company, primecorporateservices.com. So I would have done that. I don't have time on a short YouTube video to tell you all the reasons why, but I can tell you it'll save you a lot of time and a lot of hassle. And if you're one of the knuckleheads that goes out and starts your LLC like on your own, and you go to like legalzoom.com or something stupid like that, yeah, you'll come back to this video in 2 years and go, I should have just listened to Pace. So that's the first thing, is I wish I knew and understood company structure, and I wish I had a professional that had my back, that I had a relationship with, like Prime Corporate Services, and I would have just gone that way, saved myself probably 7 years of anguish and having to go back and unravel and fix everything, okay? So number two is I would have learned earlier all the no more money strategies, okay? A lot of people, me included, I was afraid to get into real estate because I thought it required a lot of money. I've learned that actually none of the deals we do with rentals, fix and flips, wholesale, none of what we do, actually, we use any of our own money. We use either creative strategies or private money, and sometimes both. So for example, I would have learned subject to way faster, okay? People that tell you to learn wholesale first, they're dumb. Don't listen to them. They're just trying to sell you something. Creative finance, I would have learned at way faster. There's less people trying to do it. It's way easier. I can pay the seller way more money, and I can take over a debt that's already there. Subject to, I would have learned way faster. Seller finance, would have learned that way faster as well. In fact, I would have focused my time and energy on subject to, seller finance, novation agreements. I created a method called the Morby method. I would have been in this world a lot longer, a lot sooner, so that I could have created the Morby method years ago. I created it about 1.5 years ago, and this is amazing. This is absolutely insane what this allows you to do. Subject to, seller finance novations, I would have learned wraps way earlier. I would have learned lease options way earlier. There's so many strategies that I actually had to write them down. There's 26 of them. Ooh, I would have learned executory contracts a lot earlier. I would have learned Subto, which is similar to Subto. Yeah, that's basically it. I mean, executory contracts is about 15 things inside of there, but I would have learned these strategies way earlier. Guys, nothing against people at wholesale. I wholesale, but I'm not a wholesaler. I just use wholesale as one of my strategies. If you're a wholesaler, you're gonna end up being broke. And the reason being is because that's all you're doing. You're turning money today. You're not building wealth. You're paying way too much money in taxes. You don't have the right company structure. You guys are out there trying to get into the game, trying to learn wholesale when everybody and their dog is trying to learn wholesale. Guys, it's a zero-sum game. The seller loses, you lose, you pay 50% of your taxes. Let's say I go and do wholesale and I do a $10,000 assignment fee. Okay, great. Unless I have rentals to offset that income through depreciation, high-level conversation here, sorry for being so fast on YouTube, you're gonna pay 40%, sometimes 50% of that $10,000 to the IRS. Good luck trying to be a wholesaler where it's challenging, it's competitive, you're lowballing every single seller you talk to, and you're basically fighting against cutthroat wholesalers who really don't have a lot of integrity. I shouldn't say I am a wholesaler, I wholesale. I'm not fighting against the industry, I'm just saying that wholesaling as a whole is a zero-sum game, and you will not win. These strategies help your seller make more money, help you make more money, and also create this magical thing called passive income. So the big thing that you really need to be working on is passive income. What I see a lot of wholesalers do is they burn out after 6 months or a year or maybe 1.5 years. They then take a break for 6 months and they come back again. And they're like, I'm back, you know, some bad things happened in my life. I'm like, dude, if you were working on passive income the whole time, who gives a shit what happened in your life? Like, your passive income would have been paying you. If something bad happens to my life, if I get hit by a bus or I get abducted by an alien or something along those lines, my wife and my children will be fine because I have Airbnbs and rentals and passive income properties that are bringing money in that I bought subject to. Primarily, most of the deals I've done are subject to seller. I do a lot of these. I don't do a lot of wraps. I don't like wraps. I'm sorry. I've done more wraps than most people, but I don't like them because I don't get depreciation with these. Okay, this is an important aspect of my business. Lease options, I don't like these because I don't own the property. I want to own real estate, not do lease options. Okay, lease options are a good strategy for like a little niche thing every once in a while, but that's not a good long-term strategy. Okay, so I would have learned these things way faster, way sooner, and I would not have believed other people. Now, I do have a creative finance mentorship, so there are going to be people listening to me saying, well, of course he's saying this because he has a creative finance mentorship. Yeah, they're partly right. Like, I obviously want you to be inside my mentorship so you can learn how to do this stuff too, but I also do wholesaling. It's not that it's a bad business, it's that it doesn't lead anywhere. Okay, if you're not doing these strategies, all you're going to be stuck with is the BRRRR strategy, which I do the BRRRR strategy too, but that's not a beginner strategy. You have to have credit, resources, W-2, really, really good resources, and most of you wholesalers out there just starting out don't have any of that, okay? I would have learned this stuff way faster. So that's the do, okay? That's the do of no money strategies. The don't is I would not have focused so much time on wholesale. I focused a lot of my time in the very beginning in wholesale, and it wasn't until I had a hard time fighting against other wholesalers that I was like, I need to learn a different strategy. I wouldn't have focused so much of my time on wholesale because, like, I talked to somebody today about a couple of deals I did like 7-8 years ago, and I was blown away by, if I would have just kept those properties, I would have probably just between those two houses made $700,000 or $800,000 just in property value gain. Guys, like, wholesale is not where it's at. It is a cool strategy, but it is a beginner, like, do a couple of wholesales, get some money in my pocket, get some momentum type of thing, but it's not something that I would build my entire business around, okay? I would not have focused so much time and energy on wholesale. I spent in 2000 and probably like 14, 15, 16, I was spending $20,000 a month doing marketing on wholesale, and I would not have done that if I could have started off. So I would have learned more no money strategies way faster. All right, so the third thing, guys, is I would have learned where to put excess money. Okay, now a lot of you guys watching this right now are like, well, what excess money? I'm just starting out and I don't have excess money. Well, here's the thing is, like, you need to create a vortex, something that is going to magnetize your money, because right now, a lot of you guys have victim mentality. Sorry, a lot of you guys do. And you're like, this happens all the time in my life, this and my life, that. And what you're doing is you're manifesting negativity, that when money comes in, those negative things suck suck up your money. I remember this one time, I was delivering pizzas. Yes, guys, I've delivered pizzas. I worked at donut packing factories. I've done all the things, okay? I had this day where delivering pizzas, I made an extra like $600 in tips during the week, and I got the $600 like chunk. That day I got it, I had nowhere for it planned to go other than, like, ooh, I got $600. And guess what happened? I had to call Roto-Rooter because my plumbing backed up. The second, I swear to you, it was like the second I got that $600, my plumbing backed up. And how much did Roto-Rooter charge me? That's right, $500 and something. So I would have found where to put my excess money. So as money comes into my life, right? Here's money and opportunity coming into my life. I would have a place planned and designated for it to be. Here's the bucket. I would have made sure that I had things where they should go. Now I know months and 6 months and a year in advance where all my income is going. Therefore, the negative things that come and grab at my money really kind of go away. All the positive things that I plan on, I would have found out where I wanted to put my money. So let's talk about a couple of those buckets real quick. I really like investing in title companies. I would have found that out earlier because title companies are truly passive income. Like truly. Real estate is actually not as passive as people think it is. Title company ownership actually is very passive. I get a check no matter what I do. I could get abducted by aliens and never be on the planet Earth ever again, and those checks would continue to come in. So title companies is a really good place. I would have started software companies earlier and knew that I wanted to do that kind of stuff. I would have started probably e-com. I started an e-com store with my son. I would have done trailer rental. We own a company called startvirtual.com. I would have invested in that way earlier. That's a $15 million business. You know, I would have been investing in these types of things way sooner, way faster. That's a do. Like, make a plan for where your excess money is going to go. Right now, you might not have excess money, but when you plan on where your excess money is going to go, what happens is the universe goes, oh, they're very intentional about what they're doing. They have an LLC, primecorporateservices.com. They have a plan. They know where the excess money is going to go. And now when they create this money, the universe is not going to come and steal it because it has a place to go. I would have done that way earlier and learned that way faster. Even when I'm giving money away, like you guys will see this week, we gave away a car for $12,000. We gave 2 people cash. Christina Solara and Jordan Sizlove got $10,000 in cash. Even my giving, I would have planned where my giving goes because the universe then knows not to come and grab my money. The thing I would not have done, I would not have just had the conversation of I need to make more money. I need to make more money to put it in a bucket that's very specific. Yes, I need to make more money, or hey, we need to double our revenue. Me and my partners have had these conversations so many times, like, let's double our revenue, let's double our sales, let's double our this. It's like, for what purpose? And when we have a purpose, we're more likely to follow through. We're more likely to not have the universe come and steal that money from us. And when you're brand new, again, this is a mindset thing of like, I'm not ready for an LLC. Yes, you are. Create your mindset that you are serious about your business. You own an LLC and you take that seriously. You have a bank account. So if you and I end up doing a deal together, I actually have a place to send a check. Right now, if you watching this channel don't have a place for me to send a check, then what the hell are we doing here? Like, make sure the universe knows you have a bank account ready to do business with an LLC that owns that, okay? That's first and foremost. Secondly, if I gave you $10,000 right now today, you wouldn't even know what the hell to do with it. You need to learn where to put your money so that it works for you. The fourth thing I would have learned is network. Oh my gosh, network. Now, this is cliche, but I would say that there's nobody better than me at networking, at least in my sphere currently. This is one of my superpowers because I now understand truly what I'm looking for. There's 3 things I'm looking for typically when I network. 3 things. A, I'm looking for private money. I'm looking for people to invest in my deals. B, I'm looking to recruit. Now, recruiting is not just for employees. I'm recruiting for opportunities as well, right? Employees and opportunities. I'm blown away at when I go out and network with people and I always ask the question, hey, why aren't we making money together? That's literally a question I ask almost everybody I meet for the first time. Why aren't we making money together? You wouldn't believe how many opportunities. Where do you think title company ownership came from and startvirtual.com ownership came from and all sorts of other things came from? It came from me asking that question. Why aren't we making money together? I would have been networking and asking more questions about how to recruit. So private money, recruiting, and more deals. I'm in a situation now in my life because of my personal brand and networking that I could turn off all my marketing, turn off everything, and I would still get deals coming to me because people know who I am and they know what I want. So this is something I would have done way faster. What I would not have done is I would not have sat in Zooms, okay? This is a big thing. So if I went on like a live stream and I'm consuming, or I'm in a Zoom and I'm consuming, I would not have just consumed. Just because we're in a digital world now doesn't mean you can't network with people. I would be going in there and getting to know people's personality through the comments, and I would be making comments on their comments and becoming friends with them, and then ultimately saying, hey, let's squat up, let's hang out. What do you have that I need, and vice versa? What can I bring to you for value? I would have been networking. I would not have just consumed. And so many people I see come into my live streams. I did a 4-hour Zoom today all about raising private capital, and I had a lot of people that I had to continually get active in the comments that were just sitting in there consuming. So I would not have consumed. I would have actually networked. I would have spent a lot more time building my circle. The do, okay, here's the goal. The do is make 25 friends in real estate as fast as possible. Not acquaintances, but like friends, people you can text and make jokes to and maybe send some nudes to and they wouldn't get offended. Those are friends, okay? Go get 25 friends you can send nudes to, and deals and other opportunities as well. So make sure you're getting 25 friends as fast as possible. And then finally, education. You know, I'm a red-blooded, testosterone-driven, egotistical guy just like anybody else. There are times and moments in my life where I feel like I know everything, especially as you do a deal or another deal and you do that type of deal 15 times, you're like, oh my gosh, I'm the king of the world. The older I get, the more I realize I don't know that much. And so I would have been investing in education way faster. Here's the education I would have learned. I would have learned how to raise capital in my 20s, not in my 30s. Okay, I learned how to raise capital probably about 9 years ago. I wish I learned it 19 years ago. I would be worth probably another $50 million if I learned how to raise capital and do more deals with people. Another deal is I wish I learned taxes and LLC structure. I talked about that earlier in the very beginning. And I wish I would have paid somebody to educate me way faster. Instead, I had to go through 7 years of bullshit. And then I went and paid people for tax and LLC help. Also, I would have learned multifamily probably a couple years earlier. I felt like multifamily, just because I hadn't been marketing for it back 4 or 5 years ago. In fact, hold on a sec. This is a really good point right here, is that this is a multifamily deal. I own all of these. They've now been cleaned up. This is the day I closed on it. You can see that there's trash and stuff on the buildings. But I would have gotten into mobile home parks and apartment complexes way earlier. But I just had this roadblock that nobody I had ever been around with creative finance was actually doing creative finance. They were all raising money to do these deals. And I bought this mobile home park, $600,000. Basically, I paid full retail for it, but 0% interest and 0 to the seller. I wish I would have known that way earlier. And I wish I would have paid somebody to teach me multifamily way sooner, because I would run into 4-plexes, 16-plexes, 32-plexes. They just gave me fear like 4 years ago. And now I understand them at a high level. You know, we've got a 200 unit under contract. We've got another 200 unit under contract, and we're now scaling. But the cool thing is you can do all of that with creative finance as well. So I would have paid for education way faster. I was one of those people that thought that people that charge for education were full of shit. And then I realized, like, I need to pay for the shortcut. I need to pay somebody to give me the answers in the appropriate order and be able to get a hold of somebody. Would have done that way, way, way sooner. Here's what I do, okay? This is my equation. For every 3 hours that I spend reading books, okay, books or YouTube, this is my personal equation, and it's never perfect, but it's kind of this, you know, thing. I will spend 4 hours in a community. Okay, and what do I mean by community? That means a Facebook group with other like-minded people. Now that I have a mentorship, and I have almost for 2 years, I spend probably, the equation is more like for every 3 hours I'm in YouTube, it's probably 10 hours I'm in my community. I'm on YouTube or reading books or going to seminars or watching other education, probably about 10 hours a week. I'm in my mentorship or doing lives and educating other people with other people. Community aspect, live, like interaction with other humans, is probably a 3 to 10 ratio. Right? It's more than 3 times the amount of time I spend here. So I would have done this way faster. I would have been not just consuming. Okay. So for a couple of years when I was a contractor for Opendoor, OfferPad, Zillow, all these big companies, I was in disbelief that I could ever fix and flip myself. And the reason being is not because I didn't know how to fix and flip. Guys, I did 7,000 renovations for somebody else before I did anything for myself. I obviously knew how to fix and flip. I just didn't know where the deals were coming from and how the funding was happening. And so when I finally broke through, the main thing that helped me break through was community. It was being around other people that told me, dude, what are you doing? Like, why are you fixing and flipping everybody else's projects? Why aren't you doing your own? And that question made me question myself. And then I finally took action on just doing my own flips. And it was like, now I look back and I go, I lost 10 years of my life fixing and flipping for other people as their contractor when I should have just jumped into my own projects. It's just dumb. It's a mindset thing. And it all came from my ability to be around the appropriate community. So a couple of things, like learning how to raise private capital. I'll give you guys a link in the the section down below, we'll give a 4-hour how to raise private capital training completely free. I will also give you guys a link to Prime Corporate Services. Again, like LLC structures. I'm looking at a bunch of the books here that I have. Let's see, what do I got that are really, really good? Oh, this is a good one too. Around education, nothing against Dave Ramsey. I think 90% of what he says is really, really good for 90% of people that really want to retire with, you know, a couple $100,000 in their name. But Dave Ramsey will cause you more harm than he'll help you. And the reason being is because he's educating people that are not trying to be incredibly wealthy and be rich and enjoy a good lifestyle. He's basically entertaining the people that are afraid and have fear. They're afraid of debt. They're afraid of these things. Here's the question. Which guy do you want to be? There's two sides of the coin. There's the guy who is worth billions and has hundreds of millions of dollars in debt and has never thought about pinching a penny in his life. And then there's this guy who basically spreads fear and anxiety and all that kind of stuff as education. So you got to make sure who you're getting your education from and what pertains to you and what doesn't pertain to you. That is a big part of education. The last thing I'll say is you need to know what pertains to you and what does not, because there's a lot of people that will give you education and you think, oh, they're talking to me. They're talking to me. They're talking to me. They're talking to me. No, they're not. Most of the stuff that's on Instagram right now, like all these reels and all these YouTube shorts and all that kind of stuff, guys, they don't pertain to most of you guys. Sometimes they're talking about luxury watches and cars and this and that and blah, blah, blah. Guys, you guys just need to pick up the phone and get a deal, right? You need to pick up the phone and raise some capital. Like that's the information I wish I would have learned. I took in too much information from people that didn't even know my name, let alone know my circumstances. So find somebody that will educate you that is teaching to your level. Are you just starting out and you haven't even got your first deal? Well, then I don't think going to Rich Dad, Poor Dad or Dave Ramsey is even a good fit for you, okay? I think going to somebody like Jerry Norton, Brent Daniels, Jamil Damji, myself, Ryan Pineda, a whole bunch of other people on YouTube that are actually actively doing deals can show you how to get your first deal, your subsequent deal, and then also scale your business. Then you can start opening up your ears to other things, but I would shut out the people that are running around talking about their $400,000 Richard Mille watches and stuff like that. That's not you, right? That's not you at this moment. So my education, what to bring in and what not to let in, I would have definitely changed that up when I first started. So hopefully this helps you guys out with the 5 things that I wish I knew when I first started and the do's and don'ts for each one of them. We'll see you in the next video.